Accessing and submitting tests. This video will show you and your student how the student will access and submit his or her test online via his or her student learning portal. I'm going to demonstrate this process in two ways. First, I'm going to show you some screenshots of the process, and then I'm going to go right into the portal and work through a test live so you can actually see it in real live motion. For a student to access the test, they must be logged into their portal. So I'm going to pretend that I'm going to be a student, Allison Calvert. So I'm going to type in the student's name and her password. So your student would be doing this as well. It would be the student's username and the student's password. Once the student arrives to their portal, the best way to access the test is from the daily planner. The student will automatically see if they have a test for that day. So all they simply need to do is to click on that test lesson from the daily planner. And the student would click on the lesson for geography where it says second review and test 20. That will open up to the very first page, which consists of the review lesson. Once the student has completed the review, they will go to the next page. And remember, when you move on to the next page, it's going to be in the lower right-hand corner. And when they click that blue arrow, it will take them to the checkpoint. The student must complete the checkpoint first before he or she can complete the test. Once that's completed, again, they will move on to the third page. So the test will always be on the last page of that group, that lesson group. As you can see, many of the subjects for your students, the test is embedded. And what that means is you no longer need to print out the test and have your student write on it, and then you have to upload it or scan it into the system. It is already there. So a student simply clicks on their choice. In this case, is an example of a multiple choice. They may have multiple choice. They may have true or false. And there are often many times where a student will respond in complete sentences. Once the student has completed responding to this test online, they will click on the word Finish. The first thing they're going to see after they click on Finish is this, almost like a question or a warning, letting them know that the test is going to be submitted. But it gives them an option to choose either yes or no, because maybe they accidentally clicked they were finished when they truly weren't. So if they are done, they're going to click the word yes, and then the responses will be saved. You know the responses are saved because you'll actually see those words, responses saved within the online lesson manual, that page that the test was on. Now don't forget, once the test is completed, please have your student mark that the lesson has been completed. So you'll note that right now the check mark is gray. Once you click on it, it will turn green, and that will alert you and the teacher that this has been completed and they're ready to move on. Once you mark that checkpoint complete, the student will close up that lesson. They'll close up that page, which will bring them right back to that main page. And this is a screenshot or a close-up of the daily planner. And then what the student would do is simply move on to the next test. We're now going to move to the portion of this presentation where I'm actually going to do a test live. So let's go ahead and go into the system. Again, I'm going to pretend that I am the student Allison Calvert, so I'm going to go ahead and log in. And we'll see that we have our lessons for the day. And I'm actually going to go right down to writing. So writing consists of 3 different subjects: grammar, composition, and spelling. So just like I mentioned, the first thing that pops up is the review lesson. So the first test that Allison's going to take today is a spelling test. And I wanted to show you this one because this one is very unique, unlike the geography and the reading, where you're going to be answering multiple choice and true and false or matching and short answer. The spelling test is going to actually have the student type in their words. So usually maybe you might say the words to your students and they write them down on paper or pencil, while the computer will read the word to them. They're going to use it in a sentence, and the student's going to type it in the box provided. The great thing about this is that the student can have the word repeated to them as many times as needed. So let's go ahead and we will go through a couple of these.
Poetry.
There, I turned up the volume. Let me go ahead and type it in. Do the next one. Again, if this is student, the computer's not doing this automatically. I'm actually clicking this on.
Tongue. A frog's tongue is sticky. Tongue.
Now, I was able to type it in right away as they were speaking, but again, I can hit this again.
Tongue. A frog's tongue is sticky. Tongue.
Again, I can repeat it. And so then we'll go on through the test. And so the student would go through all of these. Another part, I'm not going to make you wait for me to take all those words, but when we come down here, there's also dictation. So again, it's just like the single spelling words. They'll read, the sentence will be read to them.
The new building has an unusual ceiling. The new building has an unusual ceiling.
Again, so as you can see, the student can type as the person is reading it, or they may want to hear it first and then repeat it again.
The new building has an unusual ceiling. The new building has an unusual ceiling.
Okay. So again, I would recommend when you are talking with your student, if they're doing this for the first time, is kind of do it in the sense that if once they feel like they have the sentence, go ahead and play that recording again so that way they can follow along with it to make sure that they have it done correctly. There's only several of these. I think there's 5 sentences that they're going to be dictated. If you're in middle school, it's at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah. And again, notice once they're done with that test, they'll click finish. Now let's take a look at this sign that popped up. You know by following with me that I did not complete all those answers because I didn't want you to have to watch me take the entire test. So this will pop up for the student, and it will alert them if they've missed any questions. So again, if I was a student, I definitely would not want to submit this without responding to all the questions. So I'd click no, I'd go back, answer those that I left blank. But again, in this case, I'm going to go ahead and click yes. So that way you'll get to see the word response is saved. Now remember what I mentioned, that writing consists of grammar, spelling, and composition. So I even know there's more pages because if I look below, this is only page 3 of 5. So I click on to move on to the next test. And so then this is the grammar test, and then the composition's on the last page. Composition, you would use a drop box. And let's see if we do this. Yes. So I click on the drop box. One thing I like about the composition is that it will have a list of what pieces of composition you're going to submit, or I should say the student's going to submit. I do recommend doing it online. So you just click Browse, and they'll take you to wherever you save those compositions. And there's Allison's composition. I click on it, click Open, and then I click Finish. And it'll just let you know how many files, so if for some reason you want to submit more than one, it just alerts you that you only have one file attached. And I kept it all as one file. When you see this, where it says File Submitted and the file name, you know it has been successfully uploaded. So go ahead and click Close. And again, if I had done all of the assessments, no, remember I skipped grammar, I'd change my gray check mark to green to identify that I have completed all the components of this lesson. And so that was done. I'd X out and then move on to the next test. And let's go back to our, as you can see, it's very straightforward and easy to use tests online. Go back to the PowerPoint and move on. Again, I just want to summarize the Dropbox here, that your all math tests, sentence diagrams, science tests, and compositions will be submitted in the Dropbox. That was the last component that we viewed. And yeah, this is really important too. Please submit the items to the appropriate Dropbox. What that means is, for example, only compositions should go into the composition Dropbox. So please don't put math tests and sentence diagrams in the composition Dropbox. Please put them in the one that's designated for that item. There's also resource information. So beyond this video, if you go into your parent portal, in the upper right-hand corner, you have your linked section, and there is a resource called the Calvert Learning Guide Orientation. And what this is a list of different topics that are associated with the Calvert program that provide information if you so need to view it. And as always, if you have any questions, please contact one of our education counselors. You can contact them by phone. On the screen is a toll-free number, and when it gets connected, you want to choose option 4, and that will send you directly to an education counselor. Or email, and again on the screen is their email. And there's even live chat, and this is accessed through the Calvert website. And they are in the office Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I hope you found this video informative. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.